Okay, welcome to the Lobo podcast. Today we have Hannah Roeschlein. I'm not saying it right. Anyways, comedian of Indiana, very funny. She grew up in a very rural town that had to take her tractor to school day. Her mom was Filipino. Her dad was a born-again Christian. They spoke in tongues at our church. So, yep, she became an alcoholic. So we talk about the drinking days, the cocaine, sobriety, a lot of Reggie Miller talk, Pacers. Anyways, Hannah Pup Rules on Instagram. If you want to do a podcast, hit up James Webb. Please subscribe to the Patreon. Support the podcast. If you have any gear, DM me. Next Mezcal Monday at Zany's. These shows have been amazing. Really great shows. I host first Monday of the month. Next one is 7/5. So go on the link tree. The tickets are already up. Okay, Lobo Dan.
Lobo Dan, Lobo Dan, Lobo Dan. Lobo Dan, Lobo Dan, Lobo Dan. Lobo Dan, Lobo Dan, Lobo Dan. Lobo Dan, Lobo Dan, Lobo Dan. It's the Lobo Dan.
Okay, welcome to the Lobo Dan podcast. I'm your host, Giovanni Diaz. To my left is James Webb from the People of Comedy Studio. What's up, James?
What's up, dude?
And in front of me is Hannah. We were just talking about your last name. It gets butchered all over the Midwest. Wait, what? Wait, how'd you say it? Roeschlein.
So it's pronounced Roeschlein.
Roeschlein.
So like I'm
Sounds
not in a rush and walk a straight line, but it looks
like Rush
all
Line.
the other
Rush.
Yes.
Like it sounds like a movie with Nick Cannon, like Rush Line or something. But so it does.
It sounds
You don't
like
like-
Hitler's AA sponsor. It's a very confusing last name to be attached to a person that looks like an Asian a little bit and has a gravel voice. People are just not getting it right, and they're correct.
You have an accent. You're from Indiana, the great state.
I do, and people like to tell me that I have it. I definitely hear it more in my voice if I'm hungry, stoned, or tired.
Mm-hmm.
And usually those three things run tandem. And so that's when it gets a little syrupy sweet, and I'll get a little more y'all. But I definitely am from a very rural area.
Where in Indiana are you from?
I grew up in a place called Clay City, Indiana.
Clay City. I don't know.
Clay City. It's about 70 minutes west of Indianapolis.
Okay.
We had drive your tractor to school day.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
The population was 861.
I mean, I'm not so like you guys. I mean, I say that I'm from a small town on stage, and people will just be like, "How small?" You know, like, "Oh, you're just wearing that Carhartt beanie to fool us," you know. And I'm like, dudes, I'm from a town so small. Like Clay City's so little. This is no joke. We had no black students except for 2005 when they put my sister in blackface in a Notable Americans play.
Oh my god.
She's gonna be the.
It's half a square mile.
Your sister's gonna be the what? Not the president.
Yeah, that's like an acre or whatever.
The
I know
Prime
it's not
Minister
even close.
of
For sure.
Canada.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, I sprung up right out of those cornfields. No joke.
Holy shit.
How do you like it though? It seems peaceful, right? Well, I'll say this. I like big cities, and then the pandemic hit, and then it was kind of relaxing being out and not having a bunch of people all over the place. So I can see there's good and bad in living in a small town. I mean, growing up half Asian, half German, right?
Yeah, small town Indiana white
But
boy.
so, your dad was a pastor in the town, right?
Yeah.
Was he the only pastor?
Not
Were there
the
different-
only, but I mean,
How many
the
churches
only one
were
on
there?
my radar,
Okay,
you
all
know,
right.
like the only one I had to go see 5 services a week and a prayer meeting or
What kind of
whatever
denomination?
else. Not the cool kind, dude. Not the kind where you like diddle kids and drink box wine. We're talking like
Snake handling.
heavy, click under. Dad knew I was afraid of snakes. I think that's but we like spoke in tongues, did laps around, you know, like washed feet. Like, let's just say I was doing very early CrossFit. It's very heavy. I was like, I know how to hunt the Antichrist. I think I see him everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I have a therapist now, but it was unwell.
No, I didn't grow up with. I grew up Catholic, so it was like very laid off. Like I go to church
For sure.
once a week for like an hour, and I get mad because they make me stand up a few times during the service. But then we get the chips, the little Jesus chips in the end. So that was very satisfying for me.
For sure. I'm glad you had that experience. That I know that some other Catholic experiences turned a little more sour.
Oh, yeah.
A little more
yeah,
sour
like-
for some Humes. So
No, I was a fat kid.
yeah, you just standing up. It's a little more favorable.
Yeah, I was a fat kid, and then so that wasn't gonna happen to me. So you grew up in Indiana, and then where you live now? You're up.
I'm in Indianapolis, based out of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just started coming into Chicago to do shows.
Oh, okay.
I was intending to move here pre-COVID, it was my intention on the way, potentially in my mind, I thought going out to like out west where I want to write and do some things like that. But now everything's kind of changed, but I still wanted to come over here to this city and do comedy. I mean, it's in basically my backyard.
Okay.
In a substantially, bigger and better market than what we have. So I just like started doing that again.
Are you driving over here?
Yeah, dude.
Like you drove here today?
No, I didn't drive over here today.
Like when you go to the Laugh Factory, you're driving.
No.
What's your schedule like now?
So this is
how does this work?
This is how my schedule works.
Uh-huh.
I have basically created kind of just like a little hybrid program that works for me. So I just in this calendar year started to headline for the very first time at home. Mm-hmm. And so I've been doing these little 30 to 40 minute sets. I've done less than 10 of these this year, but I self-produce them. And so I've basically been able to like make a running program of, probably 3 to 5 self-produced headlines a month at home. And then I'll go out of the state, you know what I mean? A couple little times or one longer time for like a more like values-based run away from home, and then I'll go back in. So like basically I've come into Chicago now, and we came in on Monday, and then I'll leave on Sunday morning.
Your crew?
Me and my buddy.
Okay.
He's like my oldest friend and momager.
Okay.
And roommate. You know what I mean? He's just like, he's helping me with like my pods that we're getting together. He's just the human catch-all,
Okay.
He's the one that put me in a lift to send me over here and like put a sativa, a dispensary cart in my hand and was like, Princess, do you got it? And I'm like, I'll see you later. Private words, Sorry, I don't know if this is on a Patreon or something. But but I just basically will just do like, so I've come in Monday night, I just did a spot at the Comedy Bar, and it was on the mic, so like if I can come in and get on stage in Chicago and two quality reps, I'll come in and stay and try to build for like 3 to 5 days at a time, and then just like do things on my off nights, like pod with other people, go watch shows at places that I'd eventually like to get on stage at, or just see the quality shows that Chicago has that frankly Indianapolis does not have on a night to night basis. I do not have the ability to see the kinds of headliners on stage that I do here. It's like for me to come into Chicago now, part of it is not only just to, to elevate a little bit, but it's also because it is that it's for me to stretch. It's me getting on stages again that make me very nervous, with people that like I look up to. So I'm just like, it was part of that like feeling for me, but that's kind of what I've been able to do just, so far this year.
Things you don't like about Chicago or this Chicagoland area? Because I don't live in Chicago. I live in the suburbs. So there's things I don't like about Chicago. I don't know if you have. I hate like.
Say your things.
Okay, I feel like this is the thing with fucking Chicago, dude. I hate. First of all, we said it before the show. I don't know. I can't have an AR. You can't own an AR-15 in Chicago, right?
You cannot.
You can't own an AR-15 right now. So right now in my trunk, I have an AR-15.
Why would you?
I can't own. I live in the suburbs. I'm traveling. It's legal. I looked it up.
Every show in here is live. I forget this.
I just came in from Indiana. I should have minimum 3 guns on my person.
would-
That's the only way you can stay a resident.
I remember.
If you didn't vote for Trump, you have to have minimum 3 guns, and if you can't prove it, I can't go home.
Look, when I went to do a show in Michigan, right? I have a concealed carry, so I was like, I called Michigan. I looked up the laws before I brought my pistol, and I was like, well, if there's like certain things I could bring it, but I can't do this, can't do that. And then I was like, oh, let me look up Indiana. They're like, whatever. Like it was nothing. It was nothing compared to me. I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, yeah.
To be honest, the only thing I haven't liked about Chicago coming in recently is just how like unprepared I was for audiences here, because I just realized like it's been night and day from my experience across the state lines to y'all's here. Like we've been gobbling up COVID across the street like hungry hippos after we went on that quick 2 months that everybody did. You know what I mean? Like right when we went in and everyone stayed in best they could. That was like the one time the nation was like lightly undivided, and then just because nobody knew what was happening. But the second any of the restrictions loosened up for a lot of the United States, we were amongst that first wave. So like, I mean, I did within like 2 months, like early May, like by the time like maybe June rolled around, and I could even be late on this, I had already returned to stage at Helium to feature for Kevin Bozeman. He gave me my like first like 5 spots right after COVID. So like it's been crazy. So like I've been standing on stages and trying to talk to people, and then realizing I'm like, these fuckers just got out of the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've caught COVID twice. You know, I caught it once just walking around
I
Indiana.
got it once.
And then I caught it again last summer when I got a 5-week boyfriend in boredom in Florida. You know.
The white boy, Florida?
Hell yeah, dude. He was.
What part of Florida?
Dude, Pompano Beach. He was former military, had 2 of the worst tribal tats I'd ever see. I felt like I was enlisting, but it was really fun for that July. I like got to go see about Dick and a manicure, you know, and escape the land of Pensaplenty for a little bit. But I think that's my only qualms with Chicago right now. Is like I want everyone to loosen up, but I understand why they can't. Everyone's just been in, dude.
Yeah, like.
And even now, it's like we're a nation. Like I just said, like I realized with the masks, you know, like here's the president, and he's saying, hey, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear that mask anymore. But then I come across here, you know what I mean? And it's like everyone's like, wear that mask. And I totally understand, and I'm fine to wear it. But just like what we're talking about, you know, you having to check on gun laws to go into Michigan and what you can do in the, you know, jurisdiction of Chicago and what Lori did here in the city, which I believe to be sound and scientific. We went a different way, you know, in the land of lore. You guys really... Well, you guys, I mean, I'm shocked. I guess I've literally been on stage looking at people with no light in their face, like porcelain dolls, like they've not even seen the light of day. And I'm like, dude, I've been everywhere. And I was trying to be safe. I wore masks, you know what I mean? And I followed the rules that were around for the places I was in. But everywhere else I was rocking. I mean, to social distancing.
Well, like
limitations.
all right, Lori Lightfoot, my birthday was this weekend, right?
Okay.
And I made the mistake to come to Chicago. Huge mistake. I had no idea. This was a qualm about Chicago. I forgot. I didn't realize it was so shut down over here because I'm in the suburbs and it's, you know, it's like whatever, right? You saw the videos of the club Ibiza, right? Everybody's fighting in the club. They're fighting COVID, right? No, they're ghetto Mexicans. They're fighting COVID. All right, so then we go to eat somewhere, and afterwards we're gonna go. It was by River West, by the Rock and Roll McDonald's, and then I had a great fish fillet there. It's 14 years ago, but anyways, fucking delicious. But I was probably just drunk. But then I was like, you know, the plan was
that's a seasoning.
Yeah,
I mean, I ate with that seasoning in the forefront of my mouth for 15 years.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So then I was like, we'll go to a bar, have some drinks, and then I got a room, and we'll go back to the room. Go to that one's booked. Go to the piano bar, the redhead slut, whatever. Yep. That's booked. Go to across the street where Hefe, wasn't there like a rape there? But anyways, we go to those bars.
Excalibur.
Hefe, right? Hefe wasn't like, I don't know. I saw Facebook. I saw that Renee guy posted about it. He's on everybody's post. But anyways, he is, right? Michael Cooper. No, anyways, some guy in Chicago who hates himself. But anyways.
You don't have to explain inside jokes and baseball to me. I don't know anything about it, but I'm just smiling because I have pettiness in my heart. I don't try to exercise it too much at home because people already think I have a general cuntiness.
Yeah.
But it's in there. So I'm just like, air it out.
Yeah.
Roast that fucker.
But, you know what? This is the thing. I bring up Michael Cooper a lot. I bring him. I know. Like, hold on, dude. He's kind of a nice guy, but he's very angry. He comes from Alabama, right?
Do you think I want to meet this guy kind of out and about?
Yeah, I used to see him at Mike's. Not out, no, because he's anti anybody performing on a stage that isn't a Zoom mic because you're killing everybody and your grandma.
Oh, wow, he took one of those stances?
Yeah, he's super hardcore about it. Like, people were doing parks at Mike's. He's like, they were doing mics at parks, and he was like, you're fucking monsters. You're killing grandma.
He'll hate me. He might be the person that actually, like, ends my life because of how negligent he feels I was being.
Yeah, you're a monster. And then,
oh, God, the death death of thousands of people in the greater Louisville, Indianapolis, and Cincy areas on my hands to that guy.
The funny thing about COVID is everybody's inside, at least over here in Illinois, not in Indiana, obviously, but we're all inside fighting on Facebook. So you say things that you wouldn't say, like, oh, I get it. You're all not booking me because blah, 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 rants. I don't know. James hasn't blocked, right? You know, he tried to reason with him, but then...
He blocked me.
Oh, he blocked you?
That's how that always works, dude.
Yeah.
There's
Well, I wish him well. So good luck, Michael.
But anyways, so Michael Cooper is... what the experience I had in Chicago on my birthday, Michael Cooper would have been like, you know what? It shouldn't even been that open. So anyways, you go to this
for
bar...
sure. Like, what are you doing out here celebrating your birthday?
Yeah, I would go to nothing's there, right? And now, like, my girlfriend's wearing heels now. Like, she's been having back problems because she got rear-ended by some white lady in Kenosha. But so now, like, her feet starting to hurt. She's getting irritated. We're trying to find a place, and we go to some place called Snickers, right? And it was just kind of
I hate all the names you've said.
half-head Snickers, red-headed slut. So then we're at Snickers, right? And that's what it was called. And then girlfriend's half white, so that white side comes out, right? So she expects like a certain level of service and respect. You know, white people, she expects a certain level of respect and service and white privilege. And then we weren't getting it, right? Because the bartender was like this, I don't know if she was Russian or Polish, and her friend, we were her friend, gay friend, he's like, I want something like, do you have anything fruity, tropical, any drinks like that? She just looks at him and she's like, I don't know what you mean. Like, what? And that's after my girlfriend had to catch her, like, hey, you need to serve us. She grabbed her, she's like, you need to serve us next. We haven't been served, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I wouldn't do that. That's her white side coming out.
For sure.
And then I was like, then we finally went a little bit outside the city to some place called, where they used to produce those shows with Joey V, Watra or whatever.
Watra, yeah.
We went to Watra, right? We drive out to Watra. I guess that's more South Side or something, Cicero. I don't know. So, but it was all Latin music, right?
Hell yeah.
A
little rompe and I'll fucking lose my shit. I might go back to drinking again. If I heard Gasolina on the wrong night, if I ate a dick on the south, if I eat a dick in Cicero, Indiana on a trip here, unprepared, it could trigger me right back to PBR and Fernet. Like, I'm going to dance my fucking ass off. You'll think I'm Gloria Estefan.
But oh, it's Cuban. But anyways,
either way.
But Cubans, very conservative people. But anyways, we were going to Watra, and then it got. Let's say it was a little bit too brown for her, right? Because it was all like Latin music, and it wasn't like Gasolina or something. It was like it was more brazier, like the cumbias. Yeah. And then we got in a fight over pina colada, right?
Of course.
And I fucking because it was like, look, man, like a few weeks ago, I would grab. She orders iced coffee. Do you drink? No, wait. You do yoga and smoke weed. So, but do you drink? You do not do sugar, or do you eat whatever you want? Because the yoga, I feel.
Up until April, I was off processed sugar, caffeine, dairy, and meat.
Now you're back on.
After, I kind of flexed a little bit, but I still, for the most part, do all those things that you said. Mm-hmm. I definitely, I'm about balance. Mm-hmm. You know, I embrace a lot of duality.
Okay. All right.
Like green shakes and ganja.
All right.
But I have chill.
Yeah, well, weed's not a drug. Weed's fine for me. Like people
for sure.
Yeah, I can't.
I've never ruined
it.
family Thanksgiving high.
All right.
That's a coke bender situation. You know what I mean? That's like this different drug.
Yeah, like coke's a drug, right? That's like a short drug. Like I know for people who've done it before.
I had a fun 2 years. It was easier than Orange Theory.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
how'd you do coke the first time? Like, how did that happen?
The funniest thing is I didn't even do coke until my 30s. I had just kind of like, I grew up, I'm 37 years old. Uh-huh. Okay, so, and I grew up a big sports fan. So,
we're the same age. We're the same age.
In our childhood, okay, there was an athlete named Len Bias.
Oh, yeah.
Who was going...
I mean, no, I didn't clap for him to die. But.
Who was, yeah. R.I.P. He's been in the dirt for a long time, so if anyone feels sensitive about it, don't even know who he is. Google him now, Len Bias. But he was like a draft pick, and he was going to go to the Celtics when I was a child. And I grew up a very like hardcore Little Pacer fan. Reggie Miller is like my hometown hero. And so basically, Len Bias, though, they kind of used him as this sort of like anti-drug figure because before he like made and played any NBA basketball, like basically he just had been like this good kid, playing, to get out of a situation and make it to the NBA, and he used coke once, and it fucking killed him, dude. It fucking got him. He bit the dust. Like I said, we found out about it as kids, probably around the same time as Ryan White with AIDS and other things they scared us with, like Greg Louganis and the frying pan drug situation on commercials. So they were really trying to come at us with shit like that. But
I remember, yeah.
So like I didn't even want to fuck with coke, because then even when I started having, like, realizing I had an alcohol problem, which was very in my young 20s, I realized I was like, oh, you already have an addictive personality. Certain drugs, if you add them on, you're donezo for sure. You already can't manage this one. And so I kind of just, like, stayed away from certain things. Coke was one of them. And none of my friends did it for so long. And then I moved to Indianapolis. You know what I mean? Around the time Indy hosted the Super Bowl, it started swirling around, as it will. I'm a server. You know what I mean? That's just currency, at this point. So I'm, like, down there acting like a twat. So a couple of years I was just doing it. Like, the first night I ever did it was the night before Thanksgiving, and I almost missed fucking dinner the next day because I was just strung out, as you will be.
Allegedly, I've done coke on Thanksgiving, or the end of winter casino, in a dream I had last year. But
it's not unfun.
No, look. So when we'll say my friend, right? When my friend
Sure.
would do coke, right? At first he would do it. No, actually, for the most part, he did it medicinally. Right, and I know it always sounds like a goddamn joke. Didn't Kid Cudi tell Joe Rogan he did it medicinally or something? Right?
Coke?
I don't.
Yeah, dude. I guess I was microdosing, if that's what we're calling key bump.
Yes, I was. All right, no, all right. But I'm serious, man. I'm serious because look, my problem I had, like we do, mine was booze. Right, I was always
For sure, same.
booze was the issue for me for years. But coke. I mean, for me, but for my friend. His issue was not coke, but he would do it because it's like he was told he had ADHD, like, so he would sometimes edit his podcast late at night, but he would do a few bumps and edit. Like, really, that's...
I have friends that, like, professionally, I don't want to say they're, like, therapeutically using coke, but as far as, like, certain things, like, I have friends that just, like, do certain jobs where they have to be up, you know what I mean, creatively through the night, and they use it as a,
and my
you know what I mean, a substitution for Adderall.
Yeah, my
friend
friend hates Adderall, right? So like he can't stand it.
He's like, but you get me some organic coke, and
Adderall,
in there,
dude. Or Adderall, what? Coke is what? 45 minutes or an hour and a half, depending how good it is. If you do the bump or the line, whatever you're gonna do, which I didn't do. I mean, my friend didn't do. Really did bumps until somebody told him, a white person told him about lines, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's it feels very Hollywood, right? Like,
for sure.
I don't smoke cigarettes, but like the act of watching somebody smoke is kind of cool. But anyways, they would do it medicinally, and then sometimes, like, the Mexican way was, keep drinking, stay kind of sober so you can keep going through the night. So they do it Mexican style.
Yeah, like little Coronitas even. I remember I've never had Coronitas until I went.
The little Coronas?
Yeah, the two Mexican party, and I was like, what the fuck is this? They say colder faster, but also, they're just smaller, so you can just have a more manageable buzz. And I was like, I don't understand these tiny.
But how much did Len do? Because it's like, how do you, like, it was his first time. Did he really die? I know. Was it crack?
Know if whatever they could have, the government could have killed Len Bias now as we get older and we think about things, and just sprinkled some coke on him and then told us some bullshit. I think he might have just had like a heart attack, though. You know what I mean? And the thing we know about coke, or at least I know even now, like even the coke
kills your dick if you do too much.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And honestly, if you've never done coke, I mean, don't get started on it. But if you're not paying for it, give it a try, I guess. But it's like nothing cool is gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's like coke's one of those drugs where I think I've always had a good time on it, but like you've never met somebody and they're like, when my favorite version of Dave is? When he's on coke. Like coke fill in the blank someone's name is never someone's favorite version. Like no. I was having like I said, a grand old time on lines, but nothing good of it will come when you're standing at 9 a.m. and then you are screaming at your ex-boyfriend at that time and like, it's not my fault your dad didn't come to your little league games, and how do you get there? Coke.
Yeah. Yeah, or what you think is Molly in Florida, but it's really laced with some type of amphetamine, so it gives the same.
Things are cut with things now. That's probably what killed Len Bias also. He could have easily just had a bad batch.
Like now we have fentanyl. So there's a website I go to and I always recommend, and I got to fight with. I think I'm getting shadow banned from YouTube. My numbers dropped dramatically because I put Arrowwood. You know Arrowwood, right? Arrowwood.com.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a website, great resource for if you actually want to experiment with psychedelics and other type of substances. It's look at this. Look at my numbers. Drop.
Oh wait, I can't subscribe on this account.
Okay. But anyways, I had a fucking it was, I forget which episode it was, but I had a link for Arrowwood.com. You've been to the website?
No.
It's a great resource for like drugs. A lot of information. They go to cities and they test out different drugs.
I
and
definitely
they
need this.
Yeah, Arrowwood.com. This is a great. There it is. Great resource.
I love. Thank you, James, for pulling this up so I could see how it's spelled, because I already in my high brain thought you were saying like Arrowhead or Arrowwood, like a gated community.
No.
So I was like, I can't wait to find out how to do mushrooms right on Arrowwood, and now it's spelled like Arrowwood. Like it looks like. If you can't obviously see this, but it looks like it's like the spelling of like somebody's like an old like Celtic name.
Cocaine and crack.
Hell yeah.
Coke,
dude.
crack, blow, snow, nose candy, euphoric stimulant, benzyl. Oh wait, what's the chemical name of coke? Benzyl, methyl,
Methyl.
Ecgonine. Cocaine is a compound derived from the Ethroclasum cocoa plant, best known for its mass popularity in the powder or free-base crack forms. But I put this website, and it was like on the link of one of my YouTube episodes, and then they flagged me, all right? And then I was like, because they said this is a website where you can buy drugs or something like that, some promoting or the sale of drugs or something like that. And then, so then I fought YouTube. You appealed it, and then I won my appeal. So something, I feel like since that day I won my appeal, I did notice my numbers dropped dramatically. Like I was getting, 30, then 50, then 100, then one something an episode. Now they dropped dramatically. So I'm just going to assume I'm being shadow banned by, who's the YouTube guy? Jack Dorsey's Twitter.
No, Sergey.
Sergey. Oh, from System of a Down. Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Jack.
By the way, there is a recipe for crack on the screen right now. I didn't even
After
know that
gentle heating will float to the top. Any excess soda will precipitate to the bottom. Given that, you never filter it. 24-hour heat lamp thing is unrealistic. I know it is. Note that when you're trying to do this, start and sustain a chemical reaction binding the H of the base soda. So as long as you're going to...
What the fuck?
Never crack?
I one time feel like I smoked crack on accident.
What happened?
I'm not kidding. I just I thought it was something else. I knew it was being reckless. I was drunk and I just took something from someone with no sense, lit it up, and then the second I tasted battery acid, I was like, that ain't it. But I was already committed. You know what I mean? I felt like it was very Bob Ross. I was like, well, this is a happy little crack accident. I'm not going to sleep for 2 days and tell anyone about what happened, but like I smelled something different. I smelled burning batteries. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh, that's okay. It was probably meth. It could have been any of those things. It was Indiana, so
I didn't do meth. Well, kind of. I did meth in Florida once. Sort of. Same thing. I thought you did Molly, and then it's like I'm up all night. I'm kind of paranoid. And I was like, this is not what Molly's supposed to feel like. But in Indiana, I didn't look up here. We don't really see meth, but Indiana. Are you guys?
Oh, meth will rip homes apart. You know, meth is like a tornado in a trailer park. Meth is leaving a wake of destruction.
Did you have?
Because Indiana's boring, you know, and it's like I have a good time there.
But you have the windmills.
What? We don't. There's like some turbines. He's talking about these turbines right before you come over to Indianapolis that are like not relevant to anyone in the state. They've benefited us to zero.
Yeah, they go to like a different state.
I get no power from them. I don't know anything about these fucking metal sculptures out there. They might as well just be Don Quixote to me. That's his.
What the fuck's a Driffinol?
Some kind of like something Joe Rogan would probably think.
But you know, the funny thing about like we're talking about drugs, it's like I was the exact same issue. Alcohol for me for 15 years always led the charge. Some other things might be attached to alcohol, but if alcohol was removed, I was actually quite well, like a really good person when that was all out of there. It's just like everything else was on top of it. But it's like I was always like, also my age, I'm not hip to slang. So like even the first time I did a dab, I thought it was like I thought it was like what the kids were calling a key bump.
Oh, okay.
And somebody at an after party was like, "You want to do a dab?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, a little bit of coke would turn this blackout around. Give me another couple hours." And I walked into the kitchen, and that's when I saw the blowtorch, and I was like, I've never needed this for coke, you know? But I wasn't a little bitch, so I was like, I'm going to do it. And that's how you end up in those kinds of situations. But it's like drugs like today, you got to be careful with that kind of shit. They're just like, they're not the same kind of drugs.
Well, booze, what did I do with booze? Like, I didn't smoke crack before. I never smoked crack. My friend freebased maybe, or tried to an aluminum thing called a foilie or something.
Foilie.
But it was the reasoning was really like he wanted to edit his podcast, but it was late already, and the effects when you smoke it is only about half an hour versus an hour, and he wants to stay up late. And this is maybe the irrational part of his brain. He was like, I don't want to drink coffee because then I won't be able to sleep. So let me do this technique this Italian dude who gave me roofies once showed me. So then he put the crappier Coke, right, on aluminum foil, and you put the water on it, and then you heat it up to like separate it from the base, and then you smoke it, and then you have a glass pipe, and then and it looks like it's not a good look, right? It's not a good look.
No, it's
when
not
you're
a good
smoking
look.
out of that's how they
But
smoke.
I mean,
meth.
even for me, drinking wasn't a good look. Like I was the kind of alcoholic where like if everything ran out in a house, I could drink cooking sherry.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like
how'd your days? So when you started drinking? What, 18? When did
a
you
little
go
bit
into?
outside. So like I was saying, I grew up in that small town in Indiana. My dad's the pastor of a church, and like I said, a very conservative one, very fire and brimstone. My mom is from the Philippines, so straight off a banana boat. Those issues, still run rampant through me. Pray for me. But with that said, I like all through high school, I was a good girl. Like I really was. I was like the oldest of three, very dutiful, went to IU scholarshiped, pre-med. And I just like was not drinking through high school, didn't have any detentions. I definitely was rogue one. I was a little asshole, but I knew how to it surprises me that I don't work clean. It's just because I don't want to, but I could. Because like playing that kind of game and learning how to be funny as a person, but have to have like language restrictions built into your own parents. You know what I mean? And like how to make people from a third world. Like I was kind of already like learning how to navigate those waters, but like I was well behaved. I just like had all these great goals. And then I went to IU. I had my first drinks and I never stopped drinking drinks? Until I was 35.
Do you remember your first drink?
I mean, definitely probably Zimas. Whatever was floating around at IU circa 2002.
I mean, there's White Claws now, right?
2003.
Is that
I don't
the new
know.
Zima?
GHB water, whatever we were sucking back at that time.
That's
nothing
so classic
good.
Zima. Oh,
and I grew up in like a small farm town. So like we were all just on like whatever the shittiest water beers you could ever have.
Keystone
For
and
sure.
Ice,
Natty Light.
Natty Light.
PBR honestly felt like elevated by the time I got a little bit older. One time in my drinking days, I almost got a tattoo. I was going to get a fucking champagne bottle with a full color PBR label because I'm backyard bougie. I felt like that just really described me. I don't regret not getting it, but now thinking about it, it's probably pretty good that I maybe just didn't.
What stopped you? You were like 1 second away.
I don't know what stopped me. There were just some things. There's some inner guidance, some knowing that I was like, something in me was like, hey, you don't feel like you're going to be able to get sober because this has gone on for a really long time and you're kind of burning it to the ground. But you might. So probs not. I already got a tattoo that says, fuck it if you can't take a joke. And then another one of the poison sticker from our childhood. Do you remember Mr. Yuck?
Who's Mr. Yuck?
You know that poison sticker they'd put on bleach? It's like a highlighter
I'm thinking
yellow.
Poison the band with every rose
that
in
little
the store.
poison sticker.
Okay.
They'd stick on
Can
like
we pull
bleach.
it up? I want to see this.
Yeah, pull Mr. Yuck up. Okay. So I got that tattoo like right on one of my hip flexor areas, like down near my vag. But I had my tattoo artist do the feminist version of it. So I have Ms. Yuck. So my poison sticker tattoo, like I said, right down by the lab, got a little bit of like eyelashes and lips. It's super cute. Fucked ever, but I do. It'd surprise you. I get up on stage and I'm like, I've got HPV, had it forever, and everyone's like, yeah, we'll enlist. We're in the back, we're ready for it. We'll take it with the vaccine. I'm like, you guys are disgusting, but
I was single. I was pretty disgusting.
Yeah, we were trash, dude.
Yeah, I had to give
and
a
the more
fuck.
I say it, people are like, you're still, we'll fuck. the only reason we're going to be able to fuck you now, Hannah, is because you are trash. And I'm like, I think that's part of my appeal. You know? Like, people are like, she's better than us now, but she is trash. She's half soy sauce and Hidden Valley Ranch, dude.
What's your saying? Curry pussy? No,
Squirt
wait.
curry,
Fuck,
dude.
Squirt curry, right? Squirt. Right, people
So-
yell at you at Olive Garden, right?
No, at my serving job, dude. So I work at this, like, a brunch spot in Indianapolis, and I was one day, like, serving up avocado toast to someone who's out on the patio, and some goon
Somebody
dick that I
who's-
knew
yeah,
walked by, who can know, and they just were like, they just screamed out one of my punchlines, and they're like, squirt curry. And I'm like, looking, and the woman's like looking at me like, are they talking to you? And I want to be like, yeah, it's one of my favorite jokes, but I just like, I don't think so, but clearly they were. But yeah, that's just that's one of the nicknames for my pussy.
Okay, squirt curry.
Yeah, some might think it's a racial joke, but it's more an NBA joke. No,
a three-pointer guy. I
to
forgot.
Steph. Yeah, I don't know. I just like, we had a lot of similarities. You know, both expert ball handlers.
You have a Reggie Miller. What is it? The 8 point.
I have. Okay.
Is 8 point.
Everybody that's listening to this podcast is like, who the fuck is this bot? This is talking all this nonsense on this podcast. Yes, one of the 8 tattoos I have is 8.9.
The 8 Wonders of Hannah.
8.9 in shot clock format. I got it on the day Kobe Bryant fell from the sky. Hand to God, hand to God.
Plan it out that
Miss
way.
him every day. Wish it. I almost said wish it had been LeBron. That's mean.
No,
I just miss Kobe.
That sounds good.
I'd trade him. That's all I'm saying. I'd trade him 100 times.
Send him to China.
Out of 100. Good on you, LeBron. You're great. You don't need our support.
The Chinese.
But
always
Kobe
support
fell
you.
from the sky. I got to feeling some type of way. And on the very day that this happened, it was also the celebration of life for what was going to be the first of 7 friends that I've buried in the past 16 months. So COVID has sucked and it's been hard for everyone, but it's just, I've been kind of what would be like a grieving, a graveside chapter. I can just say it very like matter of fact because I have had to go through it and that's what we're all doing. But I just like chose on that day. I was very high. I spoke at the celebration of life. Kobe died. I was like, oh my God. My friend texted me and she was like, Hannah, down at the tattoo shop, they're having a Pacers collaboration.
Oh.
Yeah, so like where you could only get a flash sheet of Pacer designs, okay? But you know, for me, I'm like, I went to Market Square Arena, like I was raised on Reggie, you know, so I was like, I'm sure I can find something on that sheet that I'll do. And my buddy's like, you want to do it? I'm like, oh, for fucking sure, I'm on my way. So like, it's just, we go in there. My buddy that is like the tattoo artist is one of my best, like a close friend of mine, you know? So I'm like already walking in, just blazed, you know, and I see the 8.9 on there and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I want. And he's like, where do you want it? And I'm like, let's put it over here on my non-existent side boob. So it's in a little thought spot, you know, just something cute for the gram. And so that's what I have. I have the 8.9 from Reggie Miller. So, and for me, that's my favorite sports memory. Like, I remember when that happened, I was listening in the back seat of my car.
What's his name was, we got what's his name's face, right? Who's that little director? Black dude.
Oh, Spike Lee.
Spike Lee, right?
Oh,
yeah.
I still to this day have trouble watching his films. I have like violent reactions to people based on sports. I mean, I got a 4-year boyfriend in my 20s from screaming "suck a dick, Tom Brady" during an AFC championship game. Like, it's unwell. I am clearly looking for a ball boy, not a boyfriend. So if you're looking for that.
Oh, that's that little
Oh,
animal.
yeah. Oh my God, they've got a thirst trap of me pulled up. So yeah, like now you can see on my like leg, that's Chili Willy. If you remember him
remember
from
that guy.
old timey cartoons. He's
Was that Hanna-Barbera tattoos or something?
Yeah, right there in my sternum area is like basically the Sanskrit symbol for breath. Oh, that's a good underboob one. My boobs are not that big. I swear to God, some of the greatest sorcery I ever do is getting people to believe just like I just cannot. I'm smiling. I'm like, look at you, bitch. Wow, you are 37 years old. You're a trash monkey, and people are over here jacking off to you. 25 years old, both genders, non-binary, because of these little weirds you're putting all over your body. Look, there's that poison sticker I told you.
Oh, there he is, Mrs. Yuck.
Yeah, right over kind of like
She
in
looks
my,
like she's
in my
transitioning.
elbow. Yeah, I feel like we're doing like a tour de tats.
What's the elbow?
So right over there in the crook is that's my sober date.
Okay.
So it says like 080518. So that's the day I stopped drinking alcohol. But yeah, the 8.9 was just the one that kind of got these whole things kicked off. And I kind of got it, like I said, I remember that moment happening and it was just so insane. But then I also, the reason I got it that day was, like I said, I was ripped and I was feeling very like meta and missing my friend. But I just the 8.9 to me kind of represents that idea that as long as you kind of stay in the gym, as long as you're out there and you're willing to continue to put the shots up, it's like you have the potential to take that kind of energy and turn it kinetic, and it's just like that kind of like greater understanding that it's like, hey, that happened so fast. He scored 8 points in literally 9 seconds. So it's like, you don't know when those kinds of things can happen and turn around, but it's like, you don't get to just like step out, and expect things are going to continue, to like that you're going to be in the game. Like, you gotta hang in there.
The sober day. What was your rock bottom? What made you sober? Was it a cumulative thing or was it one thing? I had like
for sure cumulative.
Okay.
Like I got my first, like I got a DUI when I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was getting in trouble. Like my sins were before me from the very start.
What kind of car were you in?
Very first one, Ford Focus. Oh my God, what a
so
shit.
Fucking much.
Piece of shit.
I fucking hate that.
I've never had nice cars ever. In fact, and I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like clearly, we just went on that like little tour of tats. I don't need to be in a nice vehicle. Like if these kinds of things step out of a Tesla, you're like, something's not in alignment. Like I don't. How is this bitch getting this? And I'm like, dudes, duh. So much easier. But yes, my rock bottom was like, there were just so many. They were always shifting. They were just like, I had a very public drinking persona and I also had a very private one, and frankly, within probably the last like 2 years before I would get sober for good, I knew I was drinking myself to death. Like my body was telling me, I'd had so many near death experiences, not only in just like wrecks or the things that happen with general, what I mean? That level of drinking. And when I say that level of drinking, I say this with no qualms, no, silliness. I was minimum drinking 10 to 15 drinks a day, every day for 15 years. Every single day, without fail. And you can see me, you're looking in my face right now. And, like I had this brain, I had the family and friends and the extroversion and the humor and all the things. But like, how can you do any of that under that much booze? You'll just like morph at some point, and it's like, I didn't start doing comedy until 4 years ago. And then I got sober 1,000 days ago or so. So it's like this whole thing for me has been like comedy has been like getting to like not only like know myself on stage, but I've done it now through the lens of both sides of what that looks like and kind of that unpacking. And it's been a really interesting but like very gratifying journey as far as that's concerned.
As far as I remember I had a few kind of rock bottoms, but I remember those moments like I woke up in Highland Park, I parked at a gas station, fell asleep. Right, this is the night after I might have had sex with not a lady. I don't know if it was that night, but anyways, in Wrigleyville, I don't know if it was that night. It might have been that night because I was at my friend's house and they're like, "I'm not gonna sleep with you," and I was like, "I'm leaving." So then, and then I got lost. Yeah, because I didn't know where my car was.
Because you can't.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is, when you got 15 brewskis, there's things coursing through you, plus your own feelings, stupidity. I mean, we were drinking.
But you feel like you're normal in the moment. Dude, yeah.
We were drinking. We were alcoholics pre-Uber. That's like things where people don't even understand that. Like, I'm amazed. Like, a part of the reason I'm always, like, hand to God just being like, oh, like, I still believe in a semblance of that higher power is because, like, I stood in front of the devil a million times. Like, you can't do that kind of recklessness. And not only was I, like, drinking at that level, but, like, at some point I just kind of gave up on my dreams. Like, you're not going to be able to, like, right this ship. You know what I mean? Now this is your whole thing. You've not gone to school, you know what I mean? You dropped out and you squandered that scholarship at IU, and now you're a server and you're doing all this. Like, can you even, you know what I mean? Like, do you even want to do that? But it was like those rock bottoms, like you were talking about. It's like the absolutely ridiculous shit. And they were happening on Tuesdays, but without fail.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're just bleeding out like legal fees, tens of thousands of dollars that I did not have as a server. you know, and just the things that you will do as far, like, when I think about those things, I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, when people ask me about rock bottom, I'm like, oh no, I was living in rock basement.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I was the mayor of, like, whatever the opposite of the Zen Zone is. Like, I was in Terror Town. Like, I was acting wild. I was a human Four Loko before that even came out. Dude.
Did you drink? Did you ever attack those Four
No,
Loko?
dude.
I had one. And
I had those were those drinks too, just like with Coke, where it was kind of like, hey, you can dabble over here in the dark arts, but if you drink a few Four Locos on top of your already sunny side up like nonsense personality and just like yeah, I have a disregard for the law. You know, and just all these other things within me, it was like, you're going to be dead for sure. So it's just like some of those things were Four Locos. I was like, I'm not fucking with those.
Yeah. Like, this happened. I remember this other kid. He went to IU. Same thing happened to him. And I was thinking, like, if you, maybe growing up, if you were you exposed to alcohol as a kid, like, a little bit? So it was, like, normal?
So dad was a former alcoholic just like me, but he found Jesus in his early 30s. Mm-hmm. And good on him, good on God, and that's good. Like, has a beautiful life. I'm a reflection of that life. You know what I mean? They still are doing the same damn thing, and I'm proud of him. But it's like, before he found Jesus, like, he's got pictures, like, where I've got, like, Polaroids of him, where he's got, like, a black eye from a run-in with the cops. Like, he was just a punk ass driving his, like, little fucking Nova, you know what I mean, on back roads, country back roads. You know what I mean? In front of cops. And so, like, I got all this shit honest. But by the time I, like, started drinking, Dad had been out of the game so long, paired with the religion with which our whole home, you know what I mean? Like, how it was structured out. Like, religion led at our house. So, with that said, alcohol was never in the house. And so that's part of the reason, like, I didn't drink in high school. Like, I just didn't have the stomach to, like, lie to them at that point. And like I said, I had hopes and dreams. And then I went to IU, cracked open a beer and was like, you know, this is something. And then I was able to keep it from them. And I never moved back home. You know, through all of that, I was able to just, like, kind of stay out of, like, the eye of everyone. And I've always been, like, a dominant personality and this, like, a thoughtful human. But there was just, you know, I just was an alcoholic. And so, like, whatever that looked like is kind of what I was been dealing with. And then now, like I said, I'm just, like, a little over 1,000 days sober.
You never had any relapses?
No.
Oh.
But I definitely smoke hella weed now. I'm definitely what they call California sober.
Yeah,
or
California
whatever.
sober, right.
But I didn't start smoking until 8 months in. I just knew I had a raging, you know, addiction that I wasn't quite frankly, and sometimes I'm not even certain that I can keep it up. You know, I'm just thankful that one day at a time I've managed to do this in a way that hasn't felt fragile and has felt very, like, beneficial and beautiful to me in a very short period of time, you know, and has become, like, something that I can manage and that I rather, like, enjoy. You know, people are like, oh, you think you can drink again? And I'm like, for sure, but I don't want to.
No.
You know, all it ever did was bring me, like, death, destruction, and, like, disappointment. So it's like, I'm not interested in getting back to that.
Yeah, I was,
you know.
At least, well, I didn't do it every day, but I was like, it was during the week, I really wouldn't, well, kind of. But it was like a few times a week, but then those few times, it's like, it's off the rails.
For
so
sure.
It was like, you know, I'd be, you know, one drink, okay, two drinks. I could have 2 drinks was not a rule, but it's like, that's what my body can handle. And I was like, all right, I can stop it. But that third one, that other feeling started creeping in. It was like, you started feeling good. And then the third drink led to, it's question mark drink, right? First 2 drinks I could do. The third drink, and I was like, all right, that's, you know, that's when that one day, like I was saying, I came back either with the lady, whatever, I don't know what it was, So with the and I went to, and I live in the suburbs, so it's always going to the mics or shows. It was like an hour away. So it was always an hour drive. So like I said, before Uber, I remember I woke up, I fell asleep at a gas station, and I woke up and there's a cop right there at the gas station. I'm like, oh crap, and he didn't see me. I got in my car, drove off, and you have all those, you know, moments, or like I remember one time, I think it was after the Laugh Factory Christmas party. I remember like I was there, and that was cool, my friends, and that's when I had my I think it was like I had a rule where I wrote. Remember, Jerry Seinfeld had a thing like write every day. There was a calendar. If you ever saw that, and I was there, and I was like 30 days in or 60 days in. I wrote every day, and then the Laugh Factory. I was at the Christmas party, and I had a rule. My rule was then. My first rule was only 2 drink max, right? So I had 2 drinks, but there was some girl there who was like, "That's how you're gonna drink?" It's like, come on. And I was like, oh, yeah.
That's how it always
yeah. I was like, oh, yeah.
Some dumb bitch. That's it, pussy. You know what it's me. And they're like, why is that little boy growling at us? Get him out of the bar.
Yeah, I was upstairs doing coke.
Buy
and
mommy
then...
a drink.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel you. And, there's like a million things that'll lead into why something can go that long. Like I said, I was also like, I was service industry.
Yeah.
And that whole culture is that you drink to celebrate, you drink to commiserate, you drink for every single thing that you had going on. But like I said, like for me, I just had to start like smoking because like the thing I love about smoking weed is that it definitely keeps me from knowing that like I won't drink. But I think if I didn't smoke weed, it would be a lot harder to be sober because like the world is so absurd. Like I think that like it's like sobriety's not for the faint of heart, but if it's killing you, you should definitely stop. And if you need to smoke a little weed about it, I don't think the program's like really like big on that kind of shit, but if it'll keep you, you know what I mean, a little more even keeled, I kind of preach that kind of stuff because I'm like, hey, the program's cool and I actually love that it's out there, and I know that one day maybe my sobriety won't feel as like accessible or easy as it does right now, and I'm thankful that like I could go into something like that.
So you started with a sponsor the whole way?
Dude,
No,
I just started where I was like, buddy, my body legitimately was like, hey, we can't put a timetable on it, but just for realsies, you're about to be done. You're about to be dead. Dead. Like where I just like, I was malnourished, like not only was I drinking that much towards the end, but like I had like chronic colds, and my parents would give me like a Z-Pack, but I would never not drink on it. You know what I mean? So I was just like ravaged immune system. I was barely eating food. I'd eat like a Totino's party pizza every 2 days, and just otherwise have just
fasting.
Like,
nice.
Yeah, doing intermittent fasting and microdosing Coke. I really put together quite a program. It was pretty good. Said no one ever. But I just like, I think that's, I just encourage people, if you're listening, there's a lot of different ways to kind of level out with that kind of shit, and I sometimes think that like, honestly, alcohol is just like, it's the one thing that I will encourage people to get a grasp on if they need it. And I won't really ever be saying shit about weed.
Yeah, because I always not attack people, but like, people who don't do drugs, and it's like, and I talk to them, and you'll say something about weed or something psychedelic, and I was like, look, I've done all the drugs, right?
For sure.
For the most part, I don't think I've ever done ketamine.
Yeah, I'm not going to do ketamine either. It's meant to put horses to sleep. One time, a stupid friend of mine, we ran out of Coke at an after party, and he was like, hey, Hannah, I got some ketamine. You want to do some? And I was like, I was faded, dude. And I fucked up, and I wanted to keep getting fucked up. And I still was like, even like with my eyes rolled back in my head, I was like, isn't that the drug for the horses? And I swear to God, my buddy was like, yeah. And I was like, can I take that and go to work tomorrow? He goes, you won't even feel it, dude. And then he just goes, snorted some. 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds, he is sitting next to me on a couch, and I watched that motherfucker turn into the human version of the Salvador Dali painting, The Persistence of Memory. Just a melting clock, dude. And I was just like, that is exactly what I'm talking about. So luckily, that was one of those like moves where even my most fucked up iteration was like, you do not put that fucking substance in your body. It would just not let me do certain things, and ketamine was one of them. I don't think humans need to be doing ketamine. Oh,
I'm glad I was supposed to do ketamine with this one person, James. You knew them. But thankfully...
Is it Michael Cooper or whatever his name is?
Oh, wow.
Is that an appropriate callback? Michael Cooper, introduce yourself to me. I'll be out and about, but don't be a creep. And if you're honestly racist or weird, don't even introduce yourself.
No. I think he has a lot of South guilt.
He's actually not going to be out, I guess.
No.
He's a triple maxer, triple vaxxer. Stay inside, do comedy online. I mean, that's awesome.
He was like, I've become so good as a comic doing Zoom mics. Like he surpassed everybody, or is what he was saying on Facebook. Well, these are things that, like, I don't know, you become the delusions of grandeur. It happens. Well, you see it a lot. You see it like
everything's relative. Okay. Good job, Mike.
He's hang in there, Mike. He just there's a lot of different ways to do comedy, and truly that is one of them.
Did you ever do any Zoom shows?
For sure I did.
Yeah, I did one.
You can tell, like, I'm a person who was not used to not talking, you know, and I'm a career server as well, on top of being a person who never knows a stranger in a room, on top of now stand-up comedy. So I was like, that's an endless stream of just... So, like, when we all came to a screeching halt, the first month or so, I was enchanted. I'd never had that kind of time. Like, I was burning the candle at both ends. You know what I mean? Like, just running, like, at that time, my hybrid program looked like 5 mornings serving a week, 5 nights a week. As far as, like, pre-COVID, I was just about to start to feature. So I was just kind of, like, trying to make a little name for myself and driving to Cincinnati for shows and going to Louisville and starting to go to Nashville and just, like, do those kinds of things. And so that was, like, where I was at on that. You know, as far as that's concerned, but it's like, I don't know. What were we? Where were?
Hey, did you see the Tony? You're half Asian. I wanted to ask you about this.
For sure.
You saw the Tony Hinchcliffe clip, right?
Sure
what do you think about Tony?
Dude.
What do you think of the clip? I want to know from a half Asian perspective. People don't know. He went on stage and called, what's his name?
Peng Dang.
Peng Dang.
I almost said Ping Dang, and I swear to God, I thought you guys were it was gonna be not right, and I was gonna be like, don't be that fucking Asian cunt who can't even get the Trailblazers on your fucking in your team. Like, don't be that person where I'm like, don't even say anything, and then you say Ping Dang, and I'm like, fuck, I already knew that, dude.
Yeah, Pink. So they were doing it. Was it a Kill Tony, right? So
it was a regular set, I think.
It was just it was like, it's not his show. That's why also, like, okay, here's my, so he basically, say what he did first.
Well, let's pull up the video. He
Right, I can watch it.
I don't think I can say the C word.
You definitely cannot say that.
I can. I'll say it when it gets closer.
Yeah. I could say Spick, Beaner, what else? Webb back.
I also said Spick last night at Laugh Factory, and I'm not Mexican, but people called me that on the playground at Clay City because they're so racist and so stupid.
Here's the artist Shafir version. This is the full set. Let me see.
We just need the little intro, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna find the...
You got it. You're the oh, what a piece of shit. I can already see him. I'm like cringing for Ping Ding.
So here's the here.
Oh, look at this.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Rest in peace, Paul Mooney.
Oh boy.
Forgot.
Everybody wants to be a ninja and nobody wants to be a ninja. That's what Paul said.
Hello, good evening, welcome, hello. How about one more time for the filthy little fucking chink that was just up here? All you fucking race traitors are hooping and hollering. I'm back there watching you puking in a fucking bucket. Oh, we making a gunpowder. Oh, you want extra soy sauce.
From China.
Oh, you borrow money from us. And you guys just eating it up, you fucking pussies. Look at you.
All right, there we go. So
pretty much it.
Wow. That's even so the craziest thing is I didn't even watch the full clip. I haven't even seen that much of it. I've become one of those people where when I hear something has happened, I want to consume news at about the headline level. To really do a deep dive into kinds of these things, sometimes, like, I think right now I'm just in my meditations and in a lot of the kookiness that I'm, like, reading and trying to just protect my mind from the very thing that we do and love. I just, like, understand some shit to be, like, low frequency. And people like Tony Hinchcliffe and that whole gang, it's, like, no love lost. But, like, dudes, you aren't it. And you guys know that you're, like, literally slipping kind of slowly into the edge of the sea, like California in general. That's why you're all racing down to Austin, like it's going to keep you, you know what I mean, from a watery grave. But it's like there they're fine, but it's just like that ain't it anymore. And it is still it for a lot of people, and he's always going to have fans. So it's not even like I want to, like, a lot of times when I don't watch that kind of shit or even give my mind to the dialogue or the conversation that ensues is simply because I understand that just like continues to give it energy. You know, and as an Asian American, I'm just kind of like looking at it, and it's like I say chink on stage, and there's like these things that, like, you know, like you're talking about, like what we have license to say and what we don't. And frankly, I'm also a person, though, that from the very time I've been doing stand up is very like anti-censorship. Like, I want people to be able to say whatever they fucking want. I have a very like dark sense of humor. But I also am one of those people who's learning how to be more socially activated and sensitive to the things that, frankly, like nobody instilled in us when we were kids, but is not a good look to be proceeding that way as an adult. So even though I believe we can say anything we want, and Tony can say chink if he wants and whatever he wants to do, I just know that I no longer am going to be like speaking out of turn in regards to things that I have no business saying. You know, like I say the things that are like pertinent to me, you know, and I luckily have a lot of cards. Like, I have a pastor dad. I have an Asian mom. I'm from rural Indiana. I was former alcoholic. So it's like I can speak to a lot of different things, but it's like I just like things like with Tony, I'm just like, dude, to give it attention, it's not going to make it go away one way or the other. Like that country singer or whatever that was racist, like the second
was it the drunk guy?
Some people,
the
yeah, but like some people canceled him, but the second, like on as far as his album sales, like they tripled, you know, because like it's still, so it's fine. But as far as Tony Hinchcliffe, if I ever saw him, I'd probably throw a drink in his face or laugh. You know, I just think he's a piece of shit. Like that whole, like those old store comics, like, you know, Chris D'Elia and like that group that we kind of grew up on that I thought was cool, you know, or funny in any way. Like, I don't even watch their specials anymore. They're lazy. They're uninspired. Like, we're trying to make our own thing and you're still mimicking drunk voices, you know, while trying to like hit on those girls. Like, it's just, you know, they're all going to just protect themselves all the way down. It's just better that that some of us.
Who did you like? Who did you like? We're closing up here, but who did you like growing up in Indiana? I mean, I guess you still had a TV and things, but growing up, like stand up wise,
for sure, I grew up.
821 people.
For sure. I mean, Dave is my favorite like comic as far as like that would be concerned growing up. But earlier, my formative years were spent watching like SNLs and Mad TVs. So like Stewart and Ms. Swan, and then just like Will Ferrell and like the Anna Gasteyer and Sherry O'Terry days of like SNL really shaped my stupid mind. You know, it's like what the thoughts I had paired with like pop culture and a lot of other things like that. But like as far as other comics were concerned, I mean, I grew up still like loving Dane Cook. Dane Cook was the dude all the way through like Madison Square Garden. He was like a legend, you know, and just like certain things like that, and those different people that you kind of like watch.
And now he has work done on his face and like
now
a 19-year-old
looks like he's
girlfriend.
in Madame
right?
Tussauds Museum. Like, dude, he would melt in the sun.
He's dating like 18-year-olds.
Yeah, like 18-year-olds too. Like, what are you, the dude from Friends? Actually, we got to close it up. Do you have any last words or plugs?
No, I mean, if you want to follow me, you can on Instagram at HanderPumpRules, and otherwise, you know, just throw a mask on or whatever so we can go back out to the Oregon Trail.
I yelled at somebody today. Because they were wearing a mask. I didn't yell at them, but they were outside and they still had a mask on. I don't know. It bothered me. I might have yelled. Why are you wearing a mask? You're alone. What the fuck? Fucking cunt. Do you have a TikTok?
No.
Get a TikTok right now. Dude.
I know James is all about TikTok, and I actually wanted to. We'll talk about this later. I mean, at some point I will have a TikTok. Right now I just have
At some point today you will have a TikTok. You gotta fucking do it, bro.
A burgeoning Instagram.
That video is like at 700K. It just hit.
I believe it. I fucking believe it.
Blow up, right?
TikTok is the way, dude.
Dude, the only reason I didn't do TikTok is because like I said, I'm 37. I started one at the beginning of quarantine. My brain is not technologically advanced. Like once a week I touch my MacBook screen. Like I know that's not how that works. But it took me 15 hours or so to learn 15 seconds worth of the Savage Dance to get 5 likes, and it really disheartened me so much, like more than the death of my friends, that I frankly shunned it. And I know that I should have. And I built and built during quarantine, and I really should have been doing that as well, but I was so deflated by like the efforts I had, and I like popped out of a trash can and I thought it was so cute, like Oscar the Grouch, and my abs were popping and I got no love. And so I think I could be talked back into it, but I just trigger shot.
Yeah, this is my second TikTok. My first one got nothing, and I was like, well, let me do another one. James, they're Handle Pump Rules on Instagram. James, you want to plug yourself?
If you wanna
69 posts.
If you wanna,
I saw that today.
That's awesome.
yeah,
Hell
that's
yeah.
great. If you want to start a podcast, I'm here for you. Our rates are, frankly, hurting my ability to make money. They're so low. But if you want to use the studio, we have all kinds of cool shit in here. Obviously, you're watching this podcast, you see what's possible. So hit me up on Instagram, @Aclysm, ACLYSM, or you can DM the network at People of Comedy Network. Also, follow @Put'em Over Productions, PUTEM Over Productions. That is the actual production company that I do stuff through, also known as Pop Studios. And that is that's it for me.
Okay, follow Lobo Den Podcast. Subscribe to Patreon. I did not release an episode this week because it was my birthday and I was about to, and I didn't feel like it because you are all ungrateful.
Yeah.
And you subscribe to my Patreon. I'm gonna get like this more because I was like, you know what? Nobody's supporting. I release content every week, probably more consistently. I think anybody in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
And if you're not gonna support, you can fucking wait because I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. So fuck off,
fuck
rip
you.
off Paul Mooney. Rest in peace, Paul Mooney.
Yes.
Right.
Rest in peace, Samantha Berkman too.
Oh
big
God,
time.
yeah, dude. She was great. I only met her a few times, but what a great person and like what a wonderful soul. Rest in peace, Samantha, Paul Mooney, and my sister's still alive. But anyways, all right, Lobo Den.
Lobo Den.